Today's great quote in franchising is being brought to you by
Franchise Teacher.
Would you like to know how to franchise your concept or grow your franchise business?
Meet the experts at Franchise Teacher.
The goal of Franchise Teacher is to teach, coach, consult, and advise. The team of experts at Franchise Teacher will evaluate your business model and present you with a winning business strategy.
Franchise Teacher will help you decide whether or not your concept works and if it's franchisable. Franchise Teacher is proud to have over 30 years of experience in franchising as both franchisees and franchisors.
Franchise Teacher are developers of over a dozen franchise systems, which include brick and mortar as well as home-based concepts of nearly 3,000 combined franchise locations.
Whether you need to add more units or get more customers, Franchise Teacher can help. We will teach.
Franchise Teacher will help you learn our proven system.
Coach.
Franchise Teacher will help you provide a game plan to succeed.
Consult.
Franchise Teacher will make sure you stay on track.
And advise.
Franchise Teacher will help you learn from our over 30 years of experience in franchising as both franchisees and franchisors. Take advantage of our free, no-obligation phone consultation. Simply go to franchiseteacher.com or call us at 561-385-3032.
That's franchiseteacher.com. Or call us at 561-385-3032.
Hi everyone, this is Marty McDermott, the president of Franchise Interviews, and welcome to another edition of Great Quotes in Franchising, where each podcast you get to hear a great quote in franchising. And if you're new to Great Quotes in Franchising or new to this podcast, we've been hosting franchise interviews now almost 9 years, almost 450 shows. And what we've done is we've taken clips or highlights or great tips from our show, and we've made them into this, what we call Great Quotes in Franchising podcast. And you have some of the most knowledgeable people in the areas of franchising that typically make the podcast. But we hear that every so often. We go back and listen to the shows as often as we can, and we say, wow, that's it. That's brilliant. We have to share that with our listeners. So if you don't have 40 minutes to listen to our weekly radio show, you can come and listen to our Great Quotes in Franchising podcast. And I think we're up to almost number 50 at this point, so we're going to have to celebrate that milestone as well. But today's podcast is with Steve Calidiera, who is the president of the International Franchise Association. And Steve says something that's been said on our show. It's probably our second most used quote in the 9 years we've been doing the show. The number one quote on our show is asking the franchipreneur who owns one. And, you know, it's interesting. If you go back and listen to our older shows, which you can hear all of them, by the way, on franchiseinterviews.com, we used to say asking the entrepreneur who owns one. And then we had Michael Gerber on the show one day, and we realized, we probably shouldn't be saying entrepreneur. Even though franchisees, we still think our entrepreneurs, they're a special type of entrepreneur. So we call them a franchipreneur. So the most popular phrase on our show is asking the franchipreneur who owns one. But there's another great quote that was used by Steve and probably like 20 other guests that we've had on the show in the last 9 years, and that is, franchising is being in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And what I love about the way Steve described this term is that, franchising is all about having support. And support is so important. I think almost anything you do in life, I think support is important, whether you're going back to school or you're starting a business. So Steve explains why. So here we go with Steve Calidiera.
So last question, Steve, is what advice would you have for our listeners who are buying a franchise? Again, you have a background in franchising, so what would you say to them?
I'd say this is an incredible industry that offers opportunities from the low end in terms of point of entry from a financial standpoint and the various segments, all the way up to, higher entry fees depending on what the brands are. But when you think of the depth and breadth of this industry, and you think that we like to say, look, with franchising, you're in business for yourself but not by yourself. So when you look at the great marketing support and operational support and training support and leveraging the supply chain efficiencies that are associated with working with a franchisor, I clearly believe, as do many, and I think it is validated by the 40% growth over the last 10 years, that franchising is a pretty solid bet, and it gives you a leg up on non-franchise businesses. So I'd say for a lot of the people that are coming into the workforce or that maybe have been downsized out of a group or an organization, looking to take more control of your own destiny, or just looking for a career change, take a strong look at franchising, because I think it's all in the metrics and the measurement. And we represent an industry with 825,000 franchise establishments across 300 business lines. We employ nearly 18 million people and over 2.1 trillion in economic activity, almost 10% of GDP. This is a great industry that offers incredible opportunity, and it's an industry that gives you an opportunity to control your own destiny, working with proven, iconic brands, and a lot of the new emerging brands offer unique, creative, innovative ideas and opportunities as well. So it's a great industry. I'm excited to lead it. I'm privileged and humbled to lead it, and we're going to continue to keep our eyes on the prize and focus on the issues that are going to move this industry forward.
And there's something for everybody, and a great diverse of people, younger people.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you again, Steve. You've been a fantastic guest. Don and I think we feel like we know you because we've referenced you probably about 20 times over the last year and a half. So, again, it was a privilege and an honor for us to get the chance to speak with you, and we'd like to wish you a happy Thanksgiving, and we'd love to have you back.
Likewise, gentlemen. All the best to you and your families, and again, thanks for having me on and letting me talk about the great work that the IFA and this franchising industry is doing. So I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Steve.
No problem.
Take care, gentlemen.
Steve.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Wow, great show, huh, Don?
Yeah, easily could have done another.
If you'd like to hear that whole interview with Steve, all you have to do is go to franchiseinterviews.com, go to our franchises by category page, and go to franchise experts. And normally we list our guests in alphabetical order, but in this case we put Steve right on top of our franchise experts page out of respect to him, because he really is. He's done a great job with the IFA and very, very knowledgeable. So I want to thank everyone for making this podcast such a success. It's hard to imagine that we've been doing it almost 9 years now. And we've got many more great quotes and franchising podcasts for you. We've got some great shows lined up for the rest of the summer on franchise interviews. So thanks, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you again soon with another edition of Great Quotes in Franchising by Franchise Interviews. Take care, everyone.